What up, T Smalls? What it do, baby?
What's going on, Mr. Palmer? How you doing, sir?
Let's talk under the tree a little bit. We got Mr. Victor Newton, Wooten. They kind of go together with Newton. I'm sure you've been called that before. Yeah. Yeah. Mr. Victor Wooten in the house, 5-time Grammy Award winner. He's a bad what, Mr. Smalls?
And he's a bad man.
Show him some love one more time.
Man, we talking up under the tree.
That's right, and we love it. We love him. He's going to talk about what he do a little bit here and there and break it down in the world of the bass. And we're going to get started with this thing right now. First of all, thanks for being here. We're going to jump straight into it. My co-host, Mr. Smalls, he really didn't, know about the jazz and the bass, arena. And when he seen you play that little clip, a lot of them on YouTube, he said, "What the hell?" I'm gonna keep it real with you.
Oh man, it was amazing, man, amazing.
Yeah, he said, "You'll never see another one like you."
Appreciate that, Mr. Smalls. Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
And we did an interview about 2 weeks ago, week and a half ago, and your name came up, and I said, when I seen you, I'm familiar with you. I said, all I can say is in my head, I'll be damned, because that's the only words that can come up. Yeah.
Cool.
But when we get off the air, my co-host will tell you what he actually said, but we're not gonna say that right now. Yeah. But the 5-time Grammys, I want to talk a little bit about that. Were you surprised that it came around 5 times for you, man?
Yeah, I was surprised that it came around once. When you do what you love, you're doing it really because you love it. And you and I both were in careers where we would do this anyway, but we don't have a career at it unless the public supports us.
Right.
So, I appreciate everything that the public does, but I would do it anyway. And for me, I've just been doing what I've been doing my whole life. But when people, especially at the top of your field, your peers at the top level, vote you in for an award like that, it is a surprise and a great joy. And I'll just say this, that's not why we do it. And I'm sure you're the same way. That's not why we do what we do. But when we get, and to me, it makes it even greater when we're just doing it because we love it and we love making people happy. And then we get celebrated on top of that. It's even a bigger joy. So I really do appreciate it. But yes, it's a surprise every time.
Well, I read your bio, and it's a lot of things that, I couldn't find that you have not done. I mean, what's left? I mean, because I'm actually surprised you never broke a bass like the wood. Hey, Smalls, do you think he's playing through the wood?
He playing amazingly. It's like a computer, man. That's poetry in motion, man. I mean, I'm impressed, man. I'm a little bit new to the jazz arena, bass arena, but when you know good music, it is what it is, man. Good music is what it is, no matter what kind of genre you play.
Well, Mr. T. Smalls, I would say that you're not new to it, because all the music you grew up on had great bass players. Now, we may not have known their name, but if I mention Bootsy Collins to you.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, right. So, right. It's not new. If I probably mentioned someone like Larry Graham Central Station, Sly and the Family Stone, a lot of people got married to that song, 1 in a Million.
Oh, yeah.
That Larry Graham thing. He's a bass player. So there's a bunch of us out there, but only in the more recent years has bass gotten to take the forefront, where you get more of us leading our own bands and doing things like winning Grammys and things like that. So in a sense it's new, but in another sense it's not new at all.
When you play on stage, man, it's like you had this style like in your face. Now what? I'm not saying you're arrogant. I don't think you play like that, but it's kind of hard for somebody to come behind you and do something. I mean,
especially when I was in my 20s. I'm 55 now. So when I was younger, You know, I was into sports, so I treated music like a sport. I trained. I was into gymnastics and martial arts, so I treated it like that. You know, um, but I grew up in the era of Motown, like
Mhm.
you know, like you did, and
Right.
Gordy didn't put out an act until they went through performance school. So I understood that I had a gift, but I also needed to know how to deliver that gift. And that's what Michael Jackson is good at, Prince, you know, the Temptations, James Brown. They were all good at not just having a gift, but how to deliver it, you know? And so anytime I'm on stage, even now, uh, how I deliver the gift, meaning the performance, is just as important as the gift of music.
Mhm.
Right.
People can hear good music at home, but if they're going to pay hard-earned money to come see me live, I want to give them more than just good music. I want to move people, and I want to move them in ways they hadn't been moved before.
Heard
And
that.
that's just always been my mentality. And you know, I'm older now, so I'm not doing backflips with the bass anymore. I do a little crazy every now and then.
When
Hey,
I
that's
see,
the
go ahead,
Go ahead,
Smalls.
man. I'm sorry, man. That's the Michael Jordan approach, man. When I seen that biography when he said, "I don't care how many times that I've been on the floor and played basketball. I'm always gonna play every game like somebody just seeing me for the first time, and
That's
I'm
it.
gonna give them their money's worth."
That's it. And I'm a huge Michael Jordan fan. And of course, yeah, you know, when I was a kid, it was Dr. J. You know, and I'm a Dr. J fan. And I remember my uncle talking about this college basketball player in North Carolina. My uncle said, "I just saw the best basketball player ever."
Wow.
Who's that? It's a
Wow.
little kid named Michael Jordan. And he was in college. We was like, wait a minute, better than Dr. J? My Uncle Doug said, yeah, yeah. So, you know, I
Wow.
had to wait a few years to find out myself. That really is my mentality. And I got that from my parents. Going to do anything. If you're going to do anything, you're going to do it at a heightened level. And my brothers, I'm the youngest of five musicians, five brothers, and they raised me the same way. That if we're going to do it, we're going to do it. We're going to do it, and we're going to, you know, we're going to act like this might be my only time I get to play. So we're going to put everything into it every time.
I see that because when I think you twirled a bass around your neck or something did. You made it.
Yeah,
You flipped it. I said, "Oh, here
that's,
we go."
that's right. You got to put a little flair in there. You know, sometimes you just dunk the ball. So other times you got to put a little flair into the dunk. You know, so I
Yeah.
was never tall enough to dunk the ball. I said, well, I'm gonna dunk a bass. I'm gonna do the equipment. You know?
Yeah. You dunked it, but I mean, you didn't say it with words, but I mean, that body language was like, now what?
Yeah, yeah. We had a really good time. There's a video you can find online probably where we played probably in the '90s at the Jacksonville Jazz Festival.
Right.
And I was
Wow.
playing with the band player
Wow.
Bela Fleck and the Flecktones. And you know, we had this weird band, and it's my brother on drums playing this electronic thing that he invented. So all my brothers are crazy like that. They do their own way. And I'm a product of that. You know, so I owe a lot to my parents and my way of thinking,
Okay.
and my brothers who taught me how to play.
That way of thinking is like the killer shark, because when they go in, they gonna go in all the way.
That's
And
that's it. Yeah.
and then that's how you got to play. Matter of fact, speaking of the Jazz Fest in Jacksonville, we would like to see you here some kind of way. We might have to do some picket signs on the road, or sell some ball peanuts.
Or something like that, man. You know what I mean? Hey, hold your sign up. You know what I mean? For every ball peanuts we sell, man, that's getting closer to our goal of bringing Mr. Wooten here to town again. You know what I mean? It's been a while since you probably been down this way, man. It's probably been a while.
Yeah, it's been a little while since I've been in Jacksonville. I was there for well, not to play, but my son had a gymnastics competition down there a couple years ago, and I was there. I got to see some relatives because yeah, again, I've got some relatives in Jacksonville. But yeah, it won't. You know, you don't have to sell no boiled peanuts. I can get down there and play. But I will take some boiled peanuts. Some things are good.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah, man.
yeah.
Yeah, man. Oh yeah.
I see that you have a little camp sometimes that you do on this big acre. I don't know if it's a farm or whatever it is, but I mean, how's that going for you?
It's going well. Of course, you know, this year we didn't get to do any camps there. We did some camps online, just like this. But we've been doing it now. This was our 21st year. And my main thing is I wanted to share with people what I had growing up. Like I grew up the youngest of 5 boys. Literally, when I was born, my brothers already knew that's the bass player. That's our bass player right there. So, because they were already playing. So I've played bass in a band my whole life. I've literally never not done it. When I was 5, I think I turned 6 during a tour where we were the opening band for Curtis Mayfield during his Superfly tour. For part of that tour on the West Coast, up and down West Coast of California. And so I've always done this. And I had 2 incredible parents and 4 extra parents in my 4 older brothers. And so, our parents, mom and dad, they knew what 5 black kids were facing in the, my brothers in the mid 50s and me in the mid 60s. They knew what we were facing. And they readied us for that. How to know who we were, how to support each other in a world that may not support us back.
Right.
I just wanted people to get what I got. And people started to know me through music. So I said, okay, if music will bring people here, let's use music. So I call them music camps. But it's not more than that. And my brothers are always there. And up until my mom and dad's death, they were there. So it's really, life lessons. And I'll share one thing my mom always said. She would say, what does the world need with just another good musician? She said, we got plenty. She said, what the world needs are good people.
Right.
And so it wasn't mom saying, don't waste your time playing music. She was saying, if you're going to commit your time to doing it, it needs to be making you better as a person, not just as a musician. In other words, other people need to get better when they hear you play. And so at camps, we teach you how to do that. Right. So I want you to leave my concert knowing your potential, not just mine. I want you to be inspired. Like when I see Tiger Woods play golf, I'm like, man, I want to play golf. That's the kind of thing that I want. And so we have a camp that we do out in the woods, 150 acres, just the way my parents grew up on a farm. But it's not a farm. I think it was a farm in the early 1900s, but now we've got cabins, bathhouse, cafeteria, kitchen, stage. And so we live there like a week at a time. And, and we get life skills disguised as music.
Wow. That's a blessing, man. When Rolling Stones mentioned you as one of the top 10 bass players in the world, I mean, how does that make you feel? Like, wow, little old me, top 10 from Rolling Stone magazine.
Yeah, that was amazing. Totally surprising because that particular award, not really award, but recognition, they said I was in the top 10, they said, of all time.
Wow.
Now,
yes.
that's a big award, and I always understand that's just somebody's opinion.
Right.
But I mean, I fooled somebody. So.
you did a good job of it too.
But I will say this. Regardless of what people think, I love to play music. But when people think of you that way, it just makes you feel good. It really, really does. Because I listen to it all. If you have bad things to say, I want to hear it because my career is dependent upon you. So I want to know how I come across. But when I get recognized by something like that, amazing. It really does make me feel good.
That's good. Like among, the other bass players, is there like a silent competition before you guys perform among each other with other acts, without saying it, like competition, or you guys competitive that, you can't play like me, but you never say it, it's like telepathic?
I have to say yes and no.
Okay.
It's a healthy competition, meaning like I got to record a record and tour with 2 of my childhood bass heroes. Stanley Clark is one, and a guy named Marcus Miller.
Right.
Now, whether you know any of their names,
yes,
you should. You've heard.
Yes. Oh,
like,
yeah.
produced early Luther Vandross.
Yes. Oh yeah.
Miles.
Okay.
Stanley's done tons of movies. Passenger 57.
Okay.
What Love got to do with it? You know, Tina Turner movie. He did all the music, but he's my child. Both of those guys are my childhood bass heroes. And so here I am now as an adult getting to record and tour with them. And, you know, so it's more of the thought of you always look up to people for being able to do something that you can't do. And both of those guys, again, you know, they're my childhood heroes. I met Stanley Clarke when I was 9. So here I am on stage with them and in the studio, and I feel 9 again.
Wow.
But it's not a competition as in I'm gonna show you I'm better or you're better, I'm not good enough. It's really more of an admiration where I want to hold up my side of the deal. Because I know Stanley's gonna bring it.
Right.
No question about so I just want to make sure I'm holding up my end of the deal. Because even though, you know, I'm only just a few years younger than them, musical generations, it's Stanley, then Marcus, and then me. So I'm like a couple generations back.
Right.
Right. So I just want to make sure it's more of a competition with myself, because if you get to do anything with your heroes, it sounds like it would be all fun, but it plays with your mind. Because you start questioning am I ready for this? Am I good enough? You know.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
a while to get comfortable.
Right.
You know.
It makes sense what you're saying.
Yeah, and I'll say this: the whole role of the bass it's an instrument of service, right? Our job is to stand in the back and make you sound better. If you're singing, I'm gonna make you sound better. Right? That's the whole role. So it's an instrument of service. So many of the players think like that. It's not really a competition. We hang with each other. We used to being in the back. We're not trying to get all the glory. But now, you know, basses are starting to come out front now.
Yes.
Attitude, you know, so I can see more of it these days. But as older guys, we're not about that.
When you you know, get ready to play a set or whatever you call it, do you go into a zone like it's all business, or are you just having fun?
You know what? I'm just having fun, because for me, playing bass is like talking. You know, and like, you know, I doubt for these, you've done so many interviews. I read some of that stuff you sent. You know, you don't got to go meditate. You just go get up here, like you said. We're gonna laugh. We're gonna. You know, for me, playing music is that way.
Okay.
I don't want to have to change this. Now, this is just me. It doesn't mean anyone that, you know, has a ritual is wrong. For me, I'm just me. What you get is me, right? And so there are many times where I don't do anything different before the show. I walk on stage and work it out, you know. But if I get myself into a zone, a lot of the times it will be when we first pull into town, when the bus or the van or whatever shows up and we get to the venue, before there's gear on it, I walk onto the stage just to get a sense of the venue.
Right.
Look around, you know.
Right.
And I heard some sports people doing that. They get to the stadium, they just look around, no people there, you know, they're just looking all around. So I do that in most cities. I'll just, you know, go in and feel the venue, you know. Yeah.
Right. Mr. Smalls, it was a part you seen on YouTube that he was doing that kind of, you know, made you go, wow. He was playing it with somebody. Go ahead and tell him about that.
I think he was playing it with his brother, man.
Yeah.
Him and his brother looked like they was having a competition, man. But I was like, wow. I mean, you was playing his guitar and he was playing your guitar. And, man, y'all was plucking that thing like, hey, man, this is, oh man, you know, like you talking, you know what I mean? Just like you said, you talking. I was impressed by that. I must have rewind that about 3 times, man. I said, hold on, let me go back. I gotta catch what I just seen. And y'all guys, the most important thing was y'all guys was having fun, man. And it was like, look, man, this is what we doing. You know, the crowd was into it, man. And I just want to say I never seen nobody do that before. That was the first time I ever seen that, man.
Well, yeah, that was my oldest brother, Reggie. on guitar. Reggie taught me how to play.
All right.
Reggie is 8 years older than me. So you got to think about this. When I'm like 2 years old learning to play the bass, Reggie's only 10. Reggie taught me how to play. He taught Joseph Joseph was 5. He taught Joseph how to play keyboards. And so by the time I'm Joe's age at 5, 6 years old, we're on tour. And not just tour, we're on tour with Curtis Mayfield.
Yeah.
Right. So I tell people that and I get the credit, but think about it. How does a 10-year-old boy get his 2-year-old brother and 5-year-old brother good enough that we can, in a few short years, be on a big tour?
Wow.
The one that gets the credit.
Yeah.
Right. But Reggie's cool. He likes to sit in the back and just let us get the credit. But a lot of these ideas, like, you know, when I'm holding the bass and then I reach over and I'm playing Reggie's guitar while he's reaching over and playing my bass while I'm still wearing it. These are ideas, like these are Reggie's ideas. You know, and then a lot of times I get the awards and I get the credit. But that's my brothers, man. I got some great brothers.
Yeah, man. It's kind of like, you know what? It don't matter what we do, we all win. You know what I'm saying? We all in a win-win situation.
You know, T Smalls, that's what music is about. That's what it's about. Even with you two, nobody trying to win. You got to work together. You know that it's better if you work together.
Right.
Music is that's the way it's built from the ground up. Think about this. And this is what we talk about at our camp. Not on the website, because people probably wouldn't come, but at the camp, you get this stuff. Think about this now. In a band, all the instruments are different, right? So in music, we celebrate our differences. And when I play the bass, I'm not trying to be a clarinet. I'm not trying to be the guitar player. I'm doing what I do best is bass. And people celebrate me for being the only bass player in the band and doing what I do well. So in music, we understand that we're different and that we have to work together. If we're playing music together, like talking, I don't even know what to say until I listen to you first.
Right.
Everything is built in. Being different is built in. Accepting our differences is built in. No one person is trying to win. I don't know what to play until I listen, right? No one wins unless we all win. So that mentality of making a band work is how life should be.
Right.
That's why there's no downside to learning to play music.
Right. I tried to learn the bass maybe 15 years ago, but my moving your fingers up and down the neck, I couldn't. I don't know what y'all be doing. I tried it, but it didn't work. It didn't work too good. You know what I'm saying? You know, I don't know.
Mr. Palmer, I know a good music camp you should come to.
Okay.
And within a few minutes, you'll be playing.
Wow.
In a few minutes. And I mean, seriously. Let me see something. Hold on one second.
Okay. Uh-oh.
There it is.
You can't help it.
There it is.
Yeah. I wasn't even planning on doing this, but now I'm going to show you how easy it is.
All right.
We talked about Larry Graham, right?
Right.
All right. Let me see if this works. Can you hear that?
Oh yeah.
So, Larry Graham, here's the thing. Either one of you, Palmer, Small, either one of you, if I handed you this bass and didn't say anything, if I just handed it to you, what you would do is you would take it and you would put it on and you would stand here just like this. I've seen it. We do this at conventions. We do this at colleges where we get invited to teach a lesson, but we use music to do it. And I say that is that nobody's a beginner, right? Even if you're 2 years old, that means you've been listening to music almost 11 years already.
Right.
So there's no beginners. So even if you've never played before, and this is what we do, we ask the audience, who's never played an instrument before? And we get whoever raised their hand, we bring them on stage, we hand them a bass. And every time, 100% of the time, they put it on and they stand just like this. So wherever their hand is, I can see what note that's going to be if they press down. We just start a groove in that key. And that person holding that bass, their body can't help but to move. Right. And we tell this person what you feel in your body is music. Now you just got to put it on the bass. So I guarantee you guys have heard this song. Sometimes I'm right.
Yeah.
Larry Graham played one note on that whole song.
Wow.
One note. He didn't go up and down the neck. That's really what the bass is about. Now we can do more, but it's about making you groove. Because I saw both of you doing this.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That's the main thing is what bass playing is doing. And you guys already know it. We know what funk is. We know how to dance, right? We know it when
Right.
we hear it.
Right.
We
Right.
just got to put it on an instrument. And it doesn't have to be a lot of notes.
Right.
And Larry Graham proved that many years ago.
Right.
Yeah. So it doesn't have to be fancy. Yeah.
It don't have to be fancy, but for some reason, you know, you have your own unique style.
Yeah. I mean, again, I got it from my brothers. You got to think about it. I grew up with 4 of the best musicians in the world.
Right.
Right. So Larry Graham was the one that came up with this what called thumping.
Right.
Now call it slapping, but
Right.
you know, a lot of us, you know, older, especially the older black bass players, still think of it as thumping and plucking.
Right.
And Larry, who I think was a guitar player, moved over to bass from what I hear in church when they lost their drummer. Mom was playing organ. They lost their drummer. So Larry started doing the kick and the snare. Right. with his bass. So he became all of a sudden a new style. Right. So I grew up with one of the best drummers in the world, my brother Roy. So, you know, playing drums on the bass was natural for me.
Okay.
Reggie, the guitar player, he taught me to play. So playing chord was natural to me. Right. Piano uses all 10 fingers. Right. So I learned how. How to use my fingers, right? Saxophone looks like this.
Right.
If you lay it down like this, now it looks just like me, don't it?
Right.
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 So I could learn and take things that my brother was doing on sax. Rudy used to play 2 saxes at a time.
Wow.
He played 2. So growing with them, I learned how to do what they do on my bass. Right. I never learned to play piano because I was growing up with one of the world's best. You know, I didn't practice on the drums, but I learned how to do all that on the bass. And it was because I lived with them and was still influenced by them. I ended up having my own style. But the same way when you two talk, you don't sound alike. You have your own voice. You never worked on it.
Right.
So I know your voice. No one told you to go practice when you were a kid. I was music the same way, man.
Wow.
Just did it.
Has this COVID really, you know, slowed down your touring? I'm sure you can, you know, get a lot of family time in right now, you know, and pretty much stay at home.
Yeah, I haven't been home like this in over 30 years.
Wow.
Well, I love it. I love it.
Wow.
I know you do, man. I know you do.
Yeah. Now, you know, I mean, we got to see how long it's going to go because we got to get some money from somewhere. Right now, I'm still doing okay. But, you know, a lot of people look at success differently once you get it. And I realize, especially now that I'm home for quite a few months, that I've been choosing music over my family and especially over my kids. And I can't get the time back with my kids. And so, you know, for many, many years, I've been trying to take a year off just to be home, coach soccer, go to all the violin recitals. But every time I say I'm going to do it, something happens. Okay, we got this big tour opening for this band. We got to do it. Okay, let's do it. And so I was, again, not going to tour next year. My booking agent, my manager, everybody knew 2021, I'm not touring. But life just said, no, we're not going to wait. We're going to take your touring away from you now. So even though I don't like the reason why I'm home, I am making the most of it.
Right.
And I don't miss touring. You know, if I didn't have a wife and kids, I'd probably never come off the road. I love it that much. It's paid vacation. But I love my family more.
Yes.
And
Yes.
so I get to spend time at home and, drive my kids crazy and my wife crazy and have fun with that. A lot of music anyway, recording for people, interviews and things like that. I get enough music in, but I'm glad I get to do it right here at home.
Okay. As far as a bass player and, being a 5-time Grammy Award winner, is a demand, a heck of a lot that you have to be gone, a lot during the year? What's your schedule like on the average? What, 300 days a year gone? I mean,
Not a
what constitutes that?
Yeah, it used to be around 300 in the
Wow.
but
Wow.
it's not that
Man.
now. Um, I say, and I never count, but I would say that I'm gone at least half the year, usually. And now, I teach at a college in Boston, Berkeley College of Music. I teach a week there every month. So that means I'm automatically going a week every month.
Mhm.
If I do a tour for 2 weeks, that means that's 3 weeks out of that month. Sometimes I go to Berkeley for a week, then I leave from Boston, go tour for 2 weeks and a half, then I gotta fly right back to Boston. That means I'm going for a month or more from
Mhm.
home. So that happens quite a bit, and, so, it can be very, very demanding, but fortunately, it's what I love to do. You know, the people who are really working, like, you know garbage collectors, the people working in ER, trauma centers, or even McDonald's or something like that. To me, that's real work. I get to travel the world, get paid to play music. So, you will never hear me complain about
I know that's right.
That's right.
Yeah.
it. Yeah, I'll never complain. I love what I do, but because I'm successful at it, and because people want me to keep doing it, and people want to sell boiled peanuts, to,
Yeah.
away from home a little bit more than I want to be. But I need to fix that. Two of my kids are out of the house now. My two older kids. I got. I want to be around a whole lot more for these younger two that are in high school.
Oh, that's a blessing, man. I mean, because I've always heard, with the industry that you're in, you're always going to, it's a big sacrifice that you miss a lot of events and, them growing up. So, and,
Too.
it's good. Yeah, go ahead.
Well, the entertainment business and like sports is entertainment. If we want to go see Michael Jordan or LeBron play, we want him to be on. I don't care if you got a headache. You
Yeah.
you got to
Yeah.
do something for me. I paid for my one night to see you. It's like that with us too. People get their one chance to see you. It doesn't matter what I feel like. I have to be on.
Mhm.
And a lot of the times we don't realize that before we get there. And it doesn't matter whether you see me in a restaurant, at the bookstore, or on stage. Everybody's got a story to tell you, and everybody wants to make a connection, a photo, or autograph.
Yeah.
And if you
Yeah.
say, man, no, not right now, all of a sudden they're gonna be on Facebook talking about how rude you were. So it is a career that you can't escape from, especially if you become successful at.
Right.
And that's
Right.
what we don't prepare for.
Right.
Right. Do a lot of the younger crowd draw to you as well? As I know, what I'm saying, you a little older, than me. I'm the oldest. I mean, I'm the youngest, but do a lot of the younger folk draw to you as far as a bass player and very interested in what you're doing? Do they ask you a lot of questions? Do you, when you go places, do we like, oh man, that's Victor Wooten? You know what I mean?
Yeah, especially the bass players. And yeah, young musicians know who I am, especially the bass player.
Right.
Even though there is a younger crew now coming in that the younger players might, you know, look to before me. But yeah, they'll know who I am. Uh, but I'm one of the older people now, you know, which I don't mind. And what that means is I have the right to slow down a little bit.
Right.
You ain't got to move as fast.
Yeah, exactly. The only thing is, for a lot of us, music is all we know.
Yeah.
So if all you know how to do is play basketball, you got a short window of your life where you get to do that. You got to figure something out. Cool thing about music is there's really no no age limit to it. I can do this forever, but I don't want to be touring forever. But then you can do what Stanley and Marcus do. You can do music for movies and TV shows. You can write symphonies. And so, I've been doing those things and a lot of teaching, a whole lot of teaching, which allows me to be home more. I have a second book that's coming out early next year,
Good.
like that. So we get into other things now as we get a little older. I might even get me a little radio show.
Good.
Yeah, hey man.
Yeah. I've seen Stanley Clark play.
I'm gonna call my Let's Talk Under the Bush or
Hey, I'm with that. I'm with that.
Let's talk.
Let's talk. Yeah.
Let's talk under the bush.
Yeah.
I seen Stanley Clark play a few years back matter of fact, at Jacksonville Jazz Fest. His style is kind of different. It's like I call it a sweet sound.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's different, and I learned a whole lot from him, even as a kid. A lot of the time, Stanley is playing a bass he calls a tenor bass.
Right.
Well, it's got strings on it that are higher than a normal bass. And then when he wants to get down low, he'll hit a pedal and
Yes.
put an octave on it. But when he picks up that big bass,
Yeah.
no one can touch him there, man.
Yeah. I heard him. It sound kind of sweet, like a sweet sound.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know what I'm talking about. Yeah.
I totally know what you're talking about. But he can get as funky and rock out as the rest of us. But the thing about Stanley, his original goal was to be the first black bass player in the Philadelphia Philharmonic, in the symphony.
Wow.
So he was practicing bowing the upright bass and being classical. That was his whole world. I think probably until he met Chick Corea, this jazz keyboard player. And then his whole path changed, and he changed the whole electric world. But he's still such a great acoustic bass player. And now he's writing symphonies and orchestras and movie scores and things like that. So he never lost that side.
Wow.
But your path did take a detour.
Wow. You played I might not pronounce it right, with the Fedora bass. Fedora?
Yeah, Fodera.
Fodera.
Sort of like a fedora hat, but Fodera.
Yes.
And that's a company that we connected in 1983. And yeah, the bass I was playing, a lot of my basses, they made for me, and they look like a yin yang symbol.
Okay.
The first yin yang bass ever made. So
Wow.
the ebony and the holly. This is Hollywood. My wife's name is Holly.
Mm-hmm.
So it's actual 2 pieces of wood. But I was lucky enough to meet them in 1983 when my brothers and I were doing some recording with a time producer named Kashif, who had a lot of hit records in the 80s and for Evelyn Champagne King and a bunch of different people. Low Thomas. He also produced Whitney Houston's first record, and two of my brothers actually were on that first Whitney Houston record because we were working with the same producer. But I met these bass builders, and no one knew who I was. No one knew who they were. And now to get a Fodera bass, it's going to be, well, I'll just say this. They are like I don't even know a high name car. I don't know anything about cars. Ferrari or DeLorean or something.
Yeah.
They're like that in the bass world. If you're going to get one of their basses, you're going to pay for it. So I was lucky enough to get connected with them their first year of making basses in 1983.
Wow. Flagship.
Yeah. It's an old saying, you get what you pay for. So I guess the higher the bass, the better, the higher the price of the bass, the better the sound. Is that what it is?
Well, a good musician can make anything sound good.
Okay.
It's sort of like your microphone. Mm-hmm. Whatever you talk through, you're gonna sound like you. And if nobody likes what you're saying, don't matter what mic you're using.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
The instrument is like that. It's like Michael Jordan wearing Nikes. You know, he could wear high heel shoes, pumps, and still out, win the game. But he wears what makes him comfortable. And so I found a bass that made me comfortable, and so it starts with that. But the quality is also at the highest level possible. And they were doing that in '83. A whole lot hasn't changed except the electronics have gotten better. But there is a whole lot with the quality. But something can be well made, and it may not fit you. It may not suit you. And we talking about bass. There was a great bass player who was a NBA star, Wayman Tisdale.
Right, I like him.
Wayman Tisdale is an amazing bass player.
Yes.
Up before he passed away.
Yes.
Now, I was in Phoenix one time, and Wayman came to my hotel to pick me up. We were just gonna hang because I knew of him as a bass player, and he knew me as a bass player. And he picked me up. He came, he's probably 11 feet tall.
Yeah.
He showed up in this tiny little convertible, sticking all up. And he couldn't have been comfortable. But I know the car costs, a whole lot of money. So for me, that's a case where, and I can't speak for Wayman. Maybe he was comfortable, but that was a case where, yeah, the car was well made, but I can't imagine him being comfortable. So for me, I look for something that makes me comfortable, and it doesn't have to cost a lot. It doesn't have to be famous, which is why I chose that Fodera bass in '83. Nobody knew who they were. Nobody knew about Fodera. They had only made a few. But it made me feel like me, so that when I play, I don't even have to think about the bass.
Okay.
I'm looking for. I want you to hear me, not the instrument.
Good.
Right.
That's a blessing. So, where can we find your music at, man? I know everything's online now. You can't go into a store like you used to and buy a CD like you used to.
Oh, yeah, records. Yeah, that case, man, can't even buy records.
I know.
Right.
It's crazy. I'm hoping that this time away from live music will make people start to appreciate it more and even want to pay for it again, because you have to think about it. When we were kids, television was free and we paid for our music.
Right.
So now it's reverse, right? All these kids, young people expect the music to be free. So it's hard to sell a record. Right? But my music, rather, I should say, is on every place where you can hear, music, whether it's Spotify, Apple Music, whatever, iTunes, and all of that. But you can still purchase records too. And one of the best ways is at my website, which is victorwooten.com. You go there. I have a store. I have a merchandising store. The equipment that I use, you can buy. The amp.
Okay.
I got a bass up there, one of my Fodera basses. I got signed by over 30 great musicians, including Marcus Miller and different people. Now that bass I've had it for probably 15, 20 years.
Mm-hmm.
I don't usually get rid of anything.
Right.
But this is an old Fodera bass of mine, and I got it signed by over 30 people. Some of the people have signed it have passed on, so I'm not selling it cheap.
We don't expect you to.
Yeah. Another thing is, I don't mind keeping it. So if no one purchases it, but my music's up there, my gear's up there. I've got clothing. We have to find other ways of making income since people want the music for free. But my website, that's a long answer to a simple question. If you want to find my music in the physical form, you can purchase CDs and also get downloads, videos, and music, lesson videos and music, as well as my first book that I wrote called The Music Lesson, which is a fictional story about a teacher and a student. All that is at victorwooten.com. And if you click on the merchandising link, it'll take you to the merch store.
Wow, that's amazing. You have a resume out this world. To be actually, you're not old. You're still young technically, but just to say you did all this, with the Grammys and Rolling Stone magazine, and you're not even 60 years old yet. That's a blessing, man.
It is a blessing.
Yeah, man, major accomplishment.
Yeah.
I feel very, very blessed, and every time I get complimented on my achievements, I have to thank the people
Mhm.
because I don't vote for myself. There are people out there that appreciate what I do, and they celebrate me by giving awards, and I appreciate that. And I will say this: one of the biggest awards that or distinctions, I don't know what you call it, that I've ever received that I'm so proud of was an online paper called the Huffington Post. They named me as one of the five, one of the 50, one of the top 50 Black iconic people representing each of the 50 states. It's something like that. So, because my dad was in the military, I was actually born in Idaho. So the Huffington Post chose me to represent Idaho as one of the top Black influential humans on the planet. But if that wasn't enough, because I was from Idaho and they chose President Barack Obama from Hawaii, because they were listed in alphabetical order, Hawaii and Idaho were right next to each other. So I
Wow.
see in this magazine pictured
Okay.
my picture right next to President Obama.
Man,
Wow.
And man, did I feel
I know you felt good about that one, man. It couldn't have happened no better, man.
yeah, yeah. Just the
Yeah.
fact to be chosen. That let me know there must not be too many people from Idaho that they could have chosen if they chose me. But some kind of way I snuck in there and I got to be pictured next to Barack Obama. I feel real good.
Have a question from one of your fans. We're going to let one question squeeze in and we'll close it on out. Who was one of your favorite artists you work with?
One of my favorite artists that I've worked with. Well, I mentioned Stanley Clarke and Marcus Miller. Let's see. Wow. Man, it's so funny because it's hard for me to pick favorites.
Yeah, don't make nobody mad.
So many, jazz, great Chick Corea, my brothers. But I got to be on a show. I got to be on a show that came out that I can't remember when it aired, either early 2000s or 90s, and it was called the Jackson Family Honors, and it was a show that the Jacksons family put on. And Michael was a part of the show. Now, of course, I didn't perform with Michael or anything like that, but I got to be on that same television show, and I was actually playing with Bruce Hornsby for that show. But it was great to be a part of that, something that the Jacksons family was a part of. The dad was there, Joe Jackson, and Jermaine, who's always been a hero of mine. So that was kind of getting it to be on a show that was put on where we honored Stevie Wonder's bass player, Nate Watts, and we each took turns playing Stevie songs, and Stevie Wonder came and performed. So that was fun. I've been lucky. Touring with Baker Mayfield as a young child.
Man.
The Dave Matthews Band are friends that I grew up with in Virginia. So getting to see them.
Wow.
It's been a lot of fun. Branford Marsalis, I just made a deal for him today. He's turning 60. Oh,
Wow.
Said that because it's a surprise.
Oh
Oh.
man, oh man. You gotta let the cat out the bag, man.
Wow. I hope we don't see. Well,
I hope you don't see it.
Yeah. The Marsalises are amazing. There's great jazz guitarist, John McLaughlin. Getting to work with him. I've been so fortunate. I get to add you guys to my list now. It just keeps getting better and better.
Hey, man, we appreciate it, man. We appreciate it.
Mr. Palm, yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, man, we appreciate it, man. It's a pleasure and an honor, man. To even be conversating with a 5-time Grammy winner, man. Like I wouldn't have never dreamed in my whole entire life I'd be talking to a bass player, man, that won 5 Grammys, and we just chopping it up like just everyday people, man. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I appreciate it. Let's do it again.
Yes, sir.
And I say this with all sincerity. Again, I play music because I love it, but I have a career because of people like you.
Right.
So, anytime that you guys are talking to someone like me, you're helping us.
Yeah.
And we owe people like you a lot. And I
Appreciate it.
know people don't tell you that probably that
I
much.
appreciate it, man. Thank
But,
you. Thank you, man.
and that's what I want to tell you. We appreciate it because your listeners, many of them probably don't know who I am, but now they do.
That's right.
Right.
We're going to say, hey, well, let me look. Let me see what they were talking about. Let me, and I might sell another record or two, or maybe some
Yeah.
peanuts or something.
Or maybe 20,000, 20,000 more records. You know what I mean? You never know. I'm just saying.
But anyway, our career is what it is because of wonderful people like you. So I really, really
Thank
appreciate
you.
Hey, man, we appreciate you.
it. Yeah.
And we wanted to talk to you because, I have a wide, range of music that I listen to, not just R&B. I can listen to jazz, slash with the bass, with the horns, everything. Because on Friday night we're going to be talking to Peter White with the acoustic. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I'm trying to introduce to everybody, not just R&B. We got guys like you that never heard of you, just like you said.
I
And
appreciate that too.
right,
Our people can sometimes go one-sided.
right,
I can remember going to see, Earth, Wind and Fire or James Brown when he was alive.
Mm-hmm.
And I hope I don't, make anyone mad and think I'm being racist or whatever. But I remember going to see even going to see Parliament or Bootsy, and there would be very few black people there. And I was like, wow, this is our music. This is like the
yeah,
soundtrack to my youth. This is what I grew up to. And it's like we forgot,
yeah.
So I appreciate you reaching out to other styles of music just to make sure that people are aware that there are other things other than R&B. Yeah.
Now you have one request. I don't know if you want to do it, but I'm going to put it on the screen. And you know it was coming, but that's up to you. I don't know if you could read that.
Close it out with a funky tune. That's what.
You don't have to do it, but it's up to you.
Well, let me see what I can do.
Oh.
We were talking about Larry Graham. I'll play one I think you guys probably remember this
All
one.
right.
I wanna myself
There you go.
That's what I'm talking about.
That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about right there,
love
man.
it. I love it.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Victor Wooten, 5-time Grammy Award winner. And we appreciate you. I mean, you all that in the bag of chips. So, Smalls, you know what to do. Go ahead and say a little prayer for this brother, man, that he stays strong with the Lord and his career and, keep him blessed, man. Go ahead.
Thank you, Lord, for giving us this blessing, man. For letting Mr. Victor Wooten spend some time with us, chop it up, man, and fellowship. Please continue to bless him, and please continue for him to be a blessing to the world. In your name, amen.
Amen. And we appreciate everything, man. And you the man. And we want to thank everybody for tuning in to Let's Talk Under the Tree. Mr. Wooten said he might have a book that's going to come out called, what do you say, Smalls? Let's Talk Well?
Let's Talk Under the Bush.
Stay tuned. He might be balling some peanuts while he's, trying to sell that book. We don't know,
I hold some picket signs or something,
Yeah, we appreciate him and everything. Don't forget to wear your mask, everybody. Stay safe with the COVID-19. Mr. Victor Wooten showed us some love. 5-time Grammy Award winner in the house with me and Mr. Palmer and T. Small. This is live, so we can't, go without editing if we stumble on the words, right, Smalls?
That's it, man. It is. Hey, you see what you see is what you
But
get.
you see, we're human too, so we might, make a little mistake when it's live. So it is what it is. But we appreciate you, Mr. Wooten. Stay on for about 30 seconds when we get off. We love everybody. Stay safe, stay focused, and we hope this COVID pass in due time so everybody can get back to normal. We love you, T. Smalls. Thanks for showing up. I don't know if you was going to be a little late, but you know how that goes.
Wear your mask, people. Wear your mask.
Yeah, and we'll holler at y'all later. Be safe, and we out of here.